Hey y'all, welcome back to Consciously Unconscious Me. I'm Mayu, and I got on quick to talk about some synchronicities and downloads that I received, and I've kind of had it in my energetic field for about the last week or so, but I don't think that I'm always meant to just hurry up and dive right off into talking about stuff as soon as I get the downloads, and because there's more information to come in, and I've learned that in times past, to not be so quick and running and jumping off and talking about the downloads that I received, where before I felt like I might have been being disobedient, not talking about it right away. I've learned that sometimes it's best to hold off because there is more information to come in. I'm sorry, I'm messing around with my mic if y'all heard just all this ruffling. Um, but so what I wanted to talk about today, like I said, real quick, I'm just waking up, um, is some synchronicities that I have been receiving, and just synchronicities in and of themselves. So I have been just questioning my path a lot lately, and things that I am supposed to be doing, what I'm doing, and just all that is going on in my life. And if you have been following me and watching any of my other videos, you know I have gone through a lot lately, and it's fine because it's ultimately shifting me for the better. And like I said, I learn something new about myself every day, and while things are a little rough, I am happy with the person that I am and the person that I'm becoming. Um, that being said, with some of the things that I was questioning, um, I believe that my guides and spirit have been leading me to certain people, um, to confirm or give me synchronicities other than numbers. Because, yes, I get number synchronicities, and I didn't always know what to do when I received those number synchronicities. I would just kind of see them and be like, oh, okay, that's a synchronicity, um, for something that I might have been thinking or been wanting some confirmation on. But the problem with getting those synchronicities is I didn't know what they were confirming or what they were about. I just knew that I was getting a synchronicity. Okay. And sometimes I would catch it, but not all the time. I wouldn't catch exactly what that synchronicity was in relation to. So for me, to better understand synchronicities, I talked to my guys and I was like, okay, I need to understand these a little better because y'all giving them to me, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with them. So I was led to a YouTuber by the name of Alona Ash, and she started to talk more about synchronicities and how they work and what you should do with those synchronicities. So that for me was a synchronicity in and of itself. I talked to my spirit guides about, you know, synchronicities, and no more than 24 hours, even shorter, 24 hours later, I'm led to this lady, or this divine spirit. She's a sweetheart. I'm led to her to understand more about synchronicities. And what's funny is because I had heard people mention her before, talking about her, but I never like traveled to her channel or anything. Um, but so she just happened to come up in my recommendations, and it has been like that for me consistently. And I will say since 2019 started, whenever I'm talking to my guides about something, they'll give me number synchronicities. But lately, it has been, not lately, but since 2019 has started, they'll direct me to something on YouTube. Like I might be watching somebody that I subscribed to a long time ago on YouTube. Um, and then I'll get this recommendation, and it's always regarding something that I might have talked to my guides about. It's not always right away. Like sometimes it might take a couple of days. But here in this last month, I will say, because we are experiencing manifestations and karma and all of that so quickly, like stuff is coming up so fast for us to be able to meditate on and to manifest and reaping what we've sown. Things are coming up quicker. So um, I received a download a few times, and I keep receiving downloads about judgment, fear, judgment, and expectations. That's something that, you know, I believe I'm led to help people clear, even clearing it within myself. Um, so I made a video about judgments and expectations, and and also I've wanted to better understand like who my guides were and who I might have been talking to. I can't tell you like specifically who my guides are and who I might be connecting with. But here's the thing. When I made this video about judgments and expectations, um, maybe 2 or 3 days later, um, there was a gentleman by the name of Feel Good who made a video um, shortly after I made my video, and I can't remember which video it was, but he made a video where he was talking about judgment, not so much expectations, but judgment. And that was another synchronicity for me, because I question a lot. My guides know me. They know that I am like the Doubting Thomas, okay? Like I'm gonna question everything, and until I get like some serious confirmation, I'm gonna question it. That's just how I am, and the divine spirit of life made me that way. Like that is just my makeup. I will question it, and then I will question what I questioned, and then I'm gonna even question that until I'm fairly sure that this is where I'm supposed to be, or this is the right answer to that. So anyway, um, I came across Feel Good, and I had seen him before where he was talking about soul signatures, but I came across that like last year, earlier in the year. I want to say it might have been in like earlier in the year, this year, where I came across him, but I didn't watch the video all the way through. It's just, the soul signatures was kind of a synchronicity for me, but I didn't watch the video all the way through. It just, the title kind of struck me, so I wanted to watch it. So I didn't really pay him any attention, or even subscribe to him at the time. But after I made that video, I came across him, and he was talking about the judgments, and it was so on point and so along the exact same lines of what I was talking about in my my judgments and expectations video, right? And he was talking about the collective, or the his guides, who he collects with or connects with, is the white winged nine. And I found that in more times after I came across him, um, he was talking about some of the exact same things that I was getting downloads about. Okay, now can I say that I'm connected to the same people that he's connected to? I don't know. Um, I very well could be, because we seem to just kind of have the same information, and so it's funny to me. Um, But before I came across Feel Good, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I swear I'll make it all make sense. Before I came across Feel Good, I came across another lady on YouTube who was saying, don't be so concerned with who your guides are and trying to figure them out, because that'll block you. You'll be so busy trying to find out names and who they are that it'll ultimately block you from even receiving the information, because you're too focused on who it is you're talking to. As long as you know that you are not subscribing to wanting to talk to entities that might not be leading you into the best direction, or that might not necessarily be for your highest good, you don't even have to worry about that, because that's not what you're seeking to connect with. So don't be so in the mindset that you have to just automatically know who it is specifically that you're talking to, because some people can tell you right off who they're talking to and some can't. I'm not one who can tell you who I'm connected with, but I know I'm connected with my higher self, the divine spirit of life, because that's who I choose to connect with, the divine way shores of unconditional love, peace, and understanding. Um, so I know that that's who I'm connecting with. Um, so I said all that to say, I couldn't tell you if I'm connecting with this same um, way shores that Feel Good is, but here's why I say, um, maybe I am, because we have talked about so much of the same things recently. He, in one of his videos, he talked about being a dot, DOT, a dot. And it was ironic to me because I was led to, I love reading. I'm a researching fanatic. I went to Barnes and Noble, and I was led to this book right here. And I refer to this book a lot with certain things. I just kind of study it, different things, because it's interesting to me. So I was led to this book, and probably a week or two after I saw Feel Good's video about being a dot, I came across this little passage, and the words are so tiny, y'all probably won't be able to see it, but I will get as close as I can, and hopefully the camera adjusts. It won't, but this little passage, this little word right here that's bolded is dot. Okay, and I'm just going to read to you what it says. And it's talking about, the title is The Triple Veils of the Negative, the Threefold Nature of Zero. And okay, let me just read it and I'll talk about it. In the Kabbalah, the concept of nothing or zero is called ayin, the void. This concept embraces two further ideas. Firstly, infinite space, called ayin sof, which means without limit. This concept is represented by the dot, or Bindu, which contains the seed of everything within it. There is also the concept of time-space continuum, Ayin Sof, or the limitless light. These abstract ideas are the triple veils of the negative. Okay, so I can't remember exactly what Feel Good said about being a dot, but it was basically just being an open space, and being accepting of everything, and not judging things as good or bad, right, wrong, evil, those types of things. And that is essentially what being a dot is. And I said some of the same things in one of my other videos. I didn't call it being a dot, but that is what it ultimately boiled down to, was that 0 point, and not being so judgmental of people, stepping from taking a step back and being objective and seeing things with compassionate detachment. Like, don't say that it's a shame that somebody is doing X, Y, and Z, and then because then you align yourself with that frequency. Okay. Um, Another thing that just came to me this morning, why I brought up Aluna Ash, is because I was watching um, her video about New Earth and the shifts and everything. I've been having a heavy few days, and it's kind of like almost like that dark night of the soul energy. Um, and I knew that this was going on because I made a video about the June energies. June energies, because you have Cancer and Gemini, who are kind of both, not kind of, Gemini is a dualistic sign, right? Because it's the twins. And then I talked about how Cancer can also kind of be viewed as a dualistic sign when you think about its glyph, the symbol that represents it, which is the 6 and 9. It's two separate things, but they are identical, but a little different, depending on how you view it. It's about that perspective. But so we are really facing a lot of polarity this month, a lot of dualistic energies, and needing to reconcile them and bring them together as a whole. Anyway, I was putting a comment on her video because she talked about when there are certain people on this planet now who are supposed to be master teachers, and you'll know who those people are, or you'll know this by how many squares you have in your chart. Now, I don't typically comment on people's stuff, but because of what she was talking about, it was a synchronicity for me, and I was kind of thanking her. Not kind of, I keep saying kind of. I was thanking her for going ahead and putting that information out there. And I was telling her, or I stated about, I was trying to figure out a way to abbreviate Dark Night of the Soul. I didn't want to write the whole thing out. And so I abbreviated and I put DOTS, dots. And that was just a huge synchronicity for me. We go through dark nights of the soul to become dots, to be that, to get back to that 0 point, and realizing that we are part of the all. Everything is a part of us, and we are a part of everything. And when we judge each other and judge other people, we separate ourselves and put ourselves back into duality, back into that 3D mind frame, and even put ourselves in more karmic situations, that karmic lessons versus karmic debts. And the reason why I say karmic lessons versus karmic debts, because debts can be something that is owed to you. You can reap your benefits from a debt. A debt is something that can be paid to you, as well as you have to pay. So in this sense, I say karmic debts as in something that you benefit from, something that is given to you, something that is you are owed, right? Whereas in karmic lessons, it's something that you have to learn, and learning can be hard. Lessons can be hard because you don't know it, and it's change. You are changing, so you don't know this information, and because it's causing you to change and you have to learn it, it can be a little trying. So for me, it's a difference between karmic lessons and karmic debts. So when you are judging people, you are essentially aligning yourself with more karmic lessons, okay? Because you are tapping into that frequency and saying um, speaking negatively about what somebody else, their karmic lessons, what they might need to learn right now before they ascend to the next level. And because they are in that vibration and you have aligned yourself with that vibration by judging them and judging that situation, now you are putting yourself in line to have to go through those same lessons or something similar until you learn to be objective and be compassionate about what somebody else is going through. And that was just so profound for me that it was like, okay, now is the time that you get on here and talk about synchronicities, because I've been kind of debating, not debating, but I've known for a little while that I needed to talk about synchronicities. And this was the moment that I needed to definitely talk about those synchronicities, because that dot thing was so profound. And it was definitely a synchronicity to come across this gentleman, to go through this book, looking for something else. While I was looking for something totally different, I came across the dot in here, and I'm going to just read it again. In the Kabbalah, the concept of nothing or zero is called ayin. Ayin, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's AIN. So ayin, the void. The concept embraces two further ideas. Firstly, infinite space, called Ein Sof, without limit. This concept is represented by the dot, or Bintu, which contains the seed of everything within it. Okay, so you are a dot and you have everything within you. And there's infinite space within you. And I even talked about this a little bit in my, I did a video about what we might be dreaming about as a collective, where I was talking about the circle and the sacred geometry and the thoughts. I couldn't fully understand what spirit was trying to convey to me at that time, but I got it a little bit. But it's essentially that same thing, coming back to that 0 point and being whole. And all of those little cards had circles on them, circles on them. And what are circles but a dot? They are a dot, and they are infinite. It's that constant flow, that cycle of endings and beginnings. It's not really a cutoff where with different shapes like triangles and squares, you have angles, different points that you get to, and then before you move on to that next angle, where with a circle or a dot, it's just continuous. It's that continuous flow. We are continuously learning. We are continuously evolving. We are continuously ascending and going to the higher levels, higher dimensions. So, and in that, we are constantly taking in new information, absorbing more, giving out more. So it's that connection of the whole, that 0 point, right? Getting back to being one with self, and then one with the collective, and then one with the divine. Okay, and now I could do that the other way, but it's always about being one with self first, because you can't even connect to the divine until you learn who you are and connect with you first. Then you connect with the divine, and then you connect with the collective. Okay, as a whole. Excuse me. So it's that being a dot. And if you are ever doubting a synchronicity, they come in so many forms. They come in so many forms. And this is another thing that I talked about with the meditation. Meditation is completely different for everybody. You receive answers, where it's good to definitely sit down, be still, get quiet, and meditate. But sometimes you don't receive your answers that way. You receive your answers in something that you might be doing, but you are so focused on that right now moment that you are not letting your mind wander off to a bunch of different things and being stressed out about all the different places that your mind keeps hitting, that you are in a constant state of meditation. When you do that, when you keep yourself centered and your mind on the right now, you get your answers that way. And um, that is essentially where you get your synchronicities and where you get those messages from. So for me, in writing what I was writing, I was right there in that moment, and I got that dots, and it was just, it's still blowing my mind right now, y'all. I don't know why. It's just so profound for me, but it matters a great deal to me because I have been doubting a lot. I have been a little stressed. I'm good, but I've been a little stressed. But it helps when spirit comes through and gives me little hugs and little kisses and lets me know it's all good. You where you supposed to be going. Just, and I've been tired, and I wake up and I'm up for about 15 minutes and I feel like I need to go back to sleep. Okay. And I know that I need to be resting, because I also know, even in all of this feeling tired and just needing to sleep, I also feel energetically that there is something huge coming my way, something big that is going to take all of my energy, and I'm just going to be on the go, just constantly go, 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 go. I know that that's coming. So right now I'm in a period of rest, right? And it just fluctuates. So I've been receiving a lot of synchronicities, a lot. And you are probably also receiving a lot of synchronicities, but you may or may not notice. So don't expect for your synchronicities to always be numbers. And don't expect for it to always be, some profound thing that is just going to be like, oh my God, yes, this is a synchronicity. It might be something so subtle as a recommendation. You watching something silly on YouTube, and a recommendation comes up about some other YouTuber that you've never seen or heard anything about, and you just click on it, and it answers some questions to some things that you have been wondering about for a while. And then you just have a slew of epiphanies and aha moments. Okay, so for me, Alona Ash and Feel Good, or some great souls to tune into. I've been tuned into Alona Ash since maybe the beginning of this year, and I just came across Feel Good maybe about 2 weeks ago, and my mind has been blown with the things that have been coming into my energetic sphere, or that have been really confirmed for me, because they were already there, but I wasn't even really sure. That is kind of what I was trying to get at a little earlier when I was talking about who I'm connected to. I wasn't really sure that I was connecting with anything higher than, my own consciousness, right? I knew I was connecting with okay, I sound like a rambling crazy person. I knew that I was connecting with my higher self, but to say that I was connecting with anything beyond my higher self, I wasn't 100% sure. Okay. Um, but this was a confirmation for me and a synchronicity for me that I am indeed connecting with my higher self, as well as higher beings and other beings, other divine beings that are helping me to help you all and to help anybody else. And that I don't necessarily have to know their names. So this was essentially a confirmation for something I heard from the other lady. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. But it was just a confirmation of what I heard from her maybe a few months back about you don't necessarily need to know exactly who your spirit guides are. Just know that you have spirit guides and that they are helping you. So I didn't know names, and I couldn't tell you 100% sure, 100% of who I was connecting with. But in coming across um, these other two people, it's letting me know that I'm definitely connecting with other divine beings other than my higher self. And my higher self is quite naturally connected to the all, to everything, because we are all connected to everything and learning to become dots. Okay. So that's just me piggybacking off of what Feel Good said. And I was really trying to make this a quick video, but I am 30 minutes in, but that's okay. Hopefully y'all got something out of it, and got some information that'll be helpful for you. So expect more videos, and I am going to go wake fully up and get my life together for the day. And I hope you all have such a beautiful day, and I will holler at y'all in the next one.